40 points, 12 rebounds, 12 assists, and 15 for 19 shooting in just 32 minutes. Let that sink in. What Stephon Castle did to the Dallas Mavericks wasn't just a big night. It was a statement performance, the kind that turns heads across the league. And remember, he's only 21, the reigning Rookie of the Year. No Spurs player had posted a 40-point triple-double since David Robinson did it back in 1993. That's more than 3 decades. And then, out of nowhere, a 21-year-old sophomore walked into the history books and joined the Admiral. It gets even crazier. Only 2 players in NBA history have ever recorded a 40-point triple-double while shooting at least 75% from the field. One of them is Wilt Chamberlain. The other is Stephon Castle. But this isn't just about one explosive night. What's happening in San Antonio right now feels bigger than a single stat line. The Spurs are sitting near the top of the Western Conference. They've won 9 of their last 12. And the way this roster is built around Wemby and Castle is starting to look familiar. Not just competitive, not just exciting. Familiar in the way those old Spurs teams felt right before banners went up and parades rolled through the city. So today, we're breaking it all down. What Castle's leap actually looks like by the numbers, why this defense has turned into a nightmare for opponents, and why the rest of the West should be paying very close attention to what's brewing in San Antonio. Because this version of the Spurs and this version of Stephon Castle is the one nobody saw coming. Let's start with the game itself, because the stat line alone doesn't tell the full story. Castle opened the night a perfect 8 for 8 from the field in the first half. By halftime, he already had 21 points and 7 assists, and none of it felt forced. That's what made it so impressive. He wasn't hunting shots or playing hero ball. He was reading the floor, setting screens, moving the ball, and getting his teammates involved. Spurs coach Mitch Johnson pointed out after the game that Castle began with a few possessions focused entirely on creating for others. The defense started leaning toward his passing lanes, trying to cut off the playmaking. And once that happened, the scoring lanes opened up. Castle simply walked into them. Dallas eventually tried putting their big men on him, which is usually a sign a defense is running out of answers. Against a 6'6" guard who can handle the ball and read the floor at that speed, it was a losing battle. Every switch turned into a problem. If the big stepped up, Castle blew right past him. If help came, he found the open man. Possession after possession, he picked them apart. After the game, Wembanyama said Castle basically outcoached the defense. That's a wild statement about a 21-year-old guard, but when you watch the tape, it makes sense. He was always one step ahead. And then came the exclamation point. Late in the fourth quarter, with the Spurs already up comfortably, Castle followed a missed shot with a violent putback dunk that pushed the lead past 20. The arena erupted. It felt less like a regular season game and more like the arrival of something new. Afterward, Castle said having his name mentioned alongside David Robinson was a dream come true. In San Antonio, that's sacred territory. The historical context only adds to it. At 21 years and 98 days old, Castle became the youngest player in NBA history to post a December 12th 40 game, breaking a record previously held by Oscar Robertson. And he did it in just 32 minutes, the second fewest minutes ever in a 40-point triple-double. That's not just a big night. That's all-time territory. But the real reason this game matters is what it suggests about Castle's trajectory. Because what he's doing this season isn't about one night in February. It's about the direction of the Spurs and the possibility that something very familiar and very dangerous is starting to form in San Antonio once again.
Stephon Castle, gear up for showtime! Castle climbs the ladder, and it's a chance for 3!
The year-to-year leap Stephon Castle has made is exactly the kind of jump that separates promising young players from future All-Stars. As a rookie, he averaged 14, 7 points, 3, 7 rebounds, and 4, 1 assists on 42, 8% shooting. Those were solid numbers, good enough to earn Rookie of the Year honors. But heading into this season, the big question wasn't about his scoring. It was about his ability to run an offense. Could he actually be the primary creator? Could he organize a team with real championship ambitions? Or would he always need someone else setting the table for him? That was the debate. So far this season, he's answering those questions loudly. Castle is averaging 17, 1 points, 5, 2 rebounds, and 7 assists per game while shooting 46, 7% from the field. The scoring bump is nice. The rebounding jump is meaningful for a guard his size. But the real story is the playmaking. His assists climbed from 4.1 to 7 per game, nearly a 70% increase. That's not a small step. That's a leap. And it's put him 10th in the entire NBA in assists per game. Think about that for a moment. A 21-year-old sophomore running point for a team sitting near the top of the Western Conference. And he looks completely comfortable doing it. There's no panic in his game, no rushed reads. Everything feels controlled, deliberate, and confident. Part of what makes Castle so difficult to guard is his physical profile. At 6'6" and around 215 pounds, he has the size to bully smaller guards in the post and power his way to the rim. But he's not just a physical presence. He also has the vision and touch to run pick and roll at a high level. He sees the second and third layers of a defense, not just the first read. That combination of strength, control, and playmaking makes him a constant problem for opposing defenses. Then you add the defensive impact. He's averaging around 1.4 steals per game and can switch across multiple positions without becoming a liability. He's not just contributing in 1 or 2 areas. He's filling up every column on the stat sheet. That's the profile of a true two-way guard. Of course, there's still a clear hole in his game, and that's the three-point shot. He's hitting just under 29% from deep on roughly 4 attempts per night. That number needs to climb, no question. But the context matters. His overall field goal percentage has improved, and he's finishing at the rim at an elite rate. He's also only 21 years old. If that three-point shot creeps up to even 35 or 36% over the next couple of seasons, you're suddenly looking at one of the most complete two-way guards in the league. That's when his ceiling starts to look genuinely scary. And the floor? The floor already looks like an all-star caliber player. Some analysts have even started comparing his trajectory to a version of Kawhi Leonard with more advanced playmaking. It's not a perfect comparison, but the archetype makes sense. Big guard, elite defender, jumper still developing, but the impact is already there every single night. The difference is that Castle's passing is miles ahead of where Kawhi was at the same age. So yes, Castle is having a breakout year. That part is clear. But a star player on a mediocre team doesn't scare anyone. What makes this situation different is the structure around him and Victor Wembanyama. And it all starts on the defensive end. San Antonio currently sits near the top of the league in several key defensive categories. They have one of the best defensive ratings in the NBA. They lead the league in blocks per game. They're near the top in defensive rebounding percentage and opponent field goal percentage. This isn't just a decent defense. It's an elite one. And the engine behind it all is Victor Wembanyama. Wemby is putting up around 23, 9 points, 11, 1 rebounds, and a league-leading 2.7 blocks per game. But the block numbers only tell part of the story. His presence alone changes how teams attack the basket. Drivers hesitate. Lob passes get thrown a little higher or a little wider. Shots at the rim get rushed or redirected entirely. It's the same kind of gravitational effect we talk about with elite shooters, except this time it's happening on defense. Opponents have to completely rethink their approach once they step into San Antonio's arena. And the supporting cast is starting to come together. De'Aaron Fox has been a major addition, averaging close to 20 points and 6 assists per game. He gives the Spurs another half-court creator, someone who can take pressure off Castle when defenses key in on him. Just as important, Fox brings playoff experience. He knows what those moments feel like, and that kind of veteran voice matters in a locker room this young. Devin Vassell has quietly become one of the team's most important pieces. He's the classic two-way wing who connects everything. Against Dallas, he posted a team best plus 31. Nothing flashy, but the team is noticeably better when he's on the floor. Every championship roster needs a player like that. Then there are the rookies. Dylan Harper, the number 2 overall pick, has already shown flashes of being a dynamic scorer. Carter Bryant had a breakout night against Dallas with 11 points and 3 blocks, earning a standing ovation from the crowd. After the game, Wembanyama called it one of Bryant's best performances and said he has weapons that can be used at any point in a game. When your franchise cornerstone is publicly hyping up the rookies like that, it tells you the culture is healthy. The foundation is being built the right way. The one area that still needs improvement is three-point shooting. As a team, the Spurs sit in the lower third of the league, hovering around 35% from deep. That can become a real concern in the playoffs, where defenses tighten and every possession matters. But of all the problems a team can have, shooting is one of the most fixable. Castle's percentage should improve with experience. Harper and Fox are both capable shooters, and players like Champagny, Keldon Johnson, and Harrison Barnes can heat up on any given night. The ingredients are there. It just needs time. And that brings us to the bigger picture, because the timeline is what makes this team so dangerous. Castle is 21. Wembanyama is 22. Harper is 19. Bryant is 20. This core hasn't even sniffed its prime yet, and they're already competing near the top of the Western Conference. What we're watching could be the early stages of the next great Spurs era. Head coach Mitch Johnson deserves serious credit as well. In his first full season after Popovich stepped down, he's got this group playing connected, disciplined basketball on both ends. The defensive identity is clear, and the offensive flow reflects the system he's building. Listen to how Castle described that Dallas performance. He said nothing was forced. Everything came naturally within the offense. He focused on creating for teammates first, and the scoring followed. That mindset doesn't come from nowhere. It's a reflection of the coaching and the culture being built behind the scenes. And here's the part that really ties everything together. The Spurs have done this before. 5 championships. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard. San Antonio knows exactly what a championship foundation looks like because they've built multiple versions of it. Elite defense, unselfish ball movement, a dominant big man, and a perimeter star who can create for himself and others. Castle and Wembanyama fit that mold perfectly. Castle is becoming the perimeter engine, the guard who breaks down defenses and makes the right read. Wemby is the anchor, the rim protector, the rebounder, the player who warps the geometry of the game just by standing on the floor. When your 2 main pillars are 21 and 22 years old, and they're surrounded by solid veterans and promising young talent, you're not just building a playoff team. You're building something that could last for the next decade. That 40-point triple-double against Dallas wasn't just a statement game. It was a preview. Castle himself said he didn't force anything. It all came within the flow of the game. And that's the most intimidating part of all. If this is the natural, organic version of Stephon Castle at 21 years old, then the rest of the league has a serious problem on its hands. The scariest version of Castle, and maybe the scariest version of the Spurs, is just starting to take shape. And the rest of the Western Conference is running out of time to figure out how to stop it.